Hey guys, we're back. Who's ready for the next part? This part's going to be exciting. You get to ask your questions to all of us. So any questions you got about logistics, any questions you got about content, any questions you got about anything, here's your time. Because I'm going to be honest with every single one of you here. If you were to come and ask me for my time, even if you offered me £5,000, I wouldn't give you my time. In terms of one-to-one privately. Because I'd rather spend it in my e-commerce store. So just see this as a very good opportunity to ask your questions. Same with everyone here. So this is your opportunity to ask questions that you might not ever be able to get again. So just really think anything that you can think of now, have it in your head ready to go. All right, George, I'll let you go.
Yeah, we're gonna start with a little discussion here to get the creative juices flowing, and then you guys can throw some questions our way. So on the note that we just finished on content, I wanna ask Leonard here, what advice would you give to someone who is looking to get better performance on paid ads, like this gentleman who was just talking about, but they don't know where to start in terms of content? How should they change their content? What works? And let's keep this to the most popular platforms that people want to know about. I would assume it's TikTok and Facebook. Like, what would be your advice for someone to create content for a product, a brand, to get attention, reduce their costs, increase performance?
Yeah. So I know there's people at different levels of your journey. We actually do TikTok editing for brands and individuals. But I think it's really about narrative. And one of the things that we've noticed is that TikTok has changed as far as it goes to engagement. And what you find traditionally now is the sweet spot on something like TikTok is between 15 to 17 seconds, actually. So short form is taking over more and more. And because there's a lot more of an organic element to it, YouTube Shorts, for example, they're really big on pushing short form content. You're able to leverage the algorithm a lot more. And similar to what Kamil was saying, by having that ability to have a catalog of content or a library of content at one time. And I think that's what for my agency, Think Influence, when you get to a level where you're making, 10, 20,000, and you're just like, I want to focus on what you do, then of course you can outsource it to an agency like ours, and we could just do it ahead of time with captions. But I think it's more about being very intentional with your content and actually realizing that it is an important part of what you're doing, because that content, from the captions to the way in which you are using your cover image, all of these things impact the way in which your algorithm is affected when you post. So if people are looking at your content and they're engaging in it or watching it for a period of time, TikTok is going to push it. YouTube Shorts are going to push it. So these small nuances and attention to detail, I feel like really help when it comes to building content. But I think it just starts from also just, if I was starting from scratch, I would take the basics of just learning how to use things like Shots, which is another app as well, which enables you to reduce long clips into shorter clips. And also subtitles, that's another thing as well, that's another hack. Subtitles are really big, especially for short form content, and transitional shifts. I feel like I'm giving you all my secrets. And transitional shifts can really, just jotting it in a way that can grab someone's attention and abrupt their experience as they're going through the feed can really impact your engagement.
Just one question to make sure people here are paying attention. What was the ideal time that Leonard said, this man deserves a golden sticker? I will get you one at the end of the event.
I just wanted to pick your brain on something here about the short form content. Would you say that people are going more and more numb to sales pitches, and that you could get better performance out of just including your product in some sort of narrative that happens to include the product but is not just about the product, to make it more, to kind of fall into what you were saying?
100%. What we're seeing with TikTok is the ability for you to also become participants in the content, whether it be reviewing it or discussing something around the topic. I think user-generated content kind of reveals that people are interested in seeing other people. So even if you take stock footage from, like you said, the back scratcher, what you don't realize is that you're really engaged with the fact that it's a teacher laying back and you're interested in the teacher, but also buying into the product. So I think you can look at content pillars on different ways, but it's not the direct approach of I have this, you should get it. It's more about how can I create a story around it, whether it be an opinion piece, whether it be a solution piece, whether it be a funny piece. I think there's so many ways to kind of to tell a story about one thing. And I definitely feel like now more than ever, you can use TikTok to incorporate yourself inside of the content as well, which will also create engagement and just get that value where you're able to keep people engaged. Because yeah, definitely people are becoming numb to advertising directly just based on product.
Yeah, this is something that we see a lot, by the way, and that's why I'm asking Leonard this question, where people go, they hear user-generated content and they think about that selfie camera, hey guys, I just got this amazing product, and then they tell like 10 features of the product, and then they say, get it now at 50% off. Is that user-generated content? Not really, right? So
User promotional content.
yeah, so people are going numb to that, and that's not what we want to do. We want to create a narrative, right? Yeah, great. So Cam, do you wanna add anything to that? Do you wanna, if you were starting, because obviously you're going very heavy on this on your clothing brands. How do you go about thinking content? How do you create content? Because clothing is a very flagrant example of this, where you can't go and talk about this is made of wool or this is made of whatever. It's lifestyle, right? It's selling an idea. So yeah, more so than selling features. Or what would you have to say about that?
So when it comes to, like, for example, George saying fashion, it's hard to advertise fashion because you can't just say this and this. It's to express fashion. It's all about how the video is recorded, what style is it in, what dimension is it in, what effects are being used. Certain effects go with certain genres. So if we're going on hip hop, certain effects go with genre style. So that's how we do it here. And depending on what platform we use as well. So like if we're going to make videos for our YouTube platform to use Google Ads as a retargeting platform, we use very high-end videos for that. But when we're using TikTok, we're getting those high-end videos, we're redimensioning it into 9:16, getting shots that fit that area, and we're just speed ramping. Always remember on TikTok, your scene should change every literally second. So count in your head, 1, 2, 3. Every time you count a second, the scene should at least change some form. If it doesn't, people are going to go somewhere else. Think of it when you go on your own TikTok. How many people here go on TikTok and just go like this till they find something that grabs their attention? Most people here. That's the truth.
So just to add, it's also mind space. With content, you're competing with people's attention. So creating questions in the headlines like, why is everybody using X, Y, and Z product? Or ask a question that evokes someone to stop on the feed and then engage with your content. Really kind of gets that engagement going as well.
This is how you get your CPC down, by the way. For those of you asking, my ads are too expensive, or even CPM is bad, my CPC is bad. It's not because you have Zuckerberg on speed dial and you can get the CPC down. It's because of this, right? So, okay. So moving on, I wanted to ask Simon here, and now we're going for you guys, because you guys have all the back-end information on what works and what doesn't work. You guys handle the sourcing, you guys handle the logistics. So from your experience, having been in this business for a while, what advice would you give for beginners? Because the product research question is one that comes up a lot. Is there any advice that you could give in terms of product research strategy, or how to find something from what you've seen work? If you could elaborate a little bit on that.
So we service thousands of sellers. So we collect quite a lot of data on what works and what doesn't work, and also because we communicate with them on a day-to-day basis on WhatsApp and Skype. We see product research is very interesting, because if we give one product to 10 sellers, they all perform differently. So there is no silver bullet to get to a success. The success doesn't really come with the product itself. It actually comes with the story that you're trying to bring out, with the capitals, with the engagement that you're trying to create. Especially for Shopify, like, why is the product that Kamil with the back scratcher still selling? Well, it's not because nobody has tried. A lot of people has tried. We have this a lot. I think over 100 people have asked us to source this product, and none of them has performed the same. So I think the product research, everyone wants to find the perfect product, but actually it's not that much of an issue. It's actually, for a beginner, it is to get started in the first place. And to be able to test different products, not just because you're looking for the perfect product, but for you to get started with running an online business. And that's what a lot of people are overlooking, is that the fact that you're an e-commerce entrepreneur means you have to deal with your ads, with your marketing, with your finance, with your HR, with everything that comes with running a business. Think of any global company. They have departments for it, and you are all of that. And I think that as a beginner is something that you need to realize, is that running a business comes a lot of different departments, and finding that perfect product is not going to make the difference. It's about you learning the skill of running a company and being excited about running that business. Because if you're not, try to look at what aspects of the business you're excited about. Running ads, doing creatives, doing sourcing, doing the logistics, start up your own warehouse. If that excites you, focus on that. Dropshipping is a journey of you becoming an entrepreneur and finding your niche. That's what it starts with. Then secondary, finding the winning product is all about testing it and getting your creatives right. Once you have a good supplier, then it just moves by itself, and you can focus on finding the next product. We see someone that gets a winning product, you stick to that niche and look for extra products that fit to the niche. If you're into kids clothing, go wider in the kids clothing, but like hats, socks, all these kind of things. If you're into massage products, go into a wider scope. Try to go into that before you go into branding. Try to find the right selection of products, then start to build a brand. Too many people ask us, I want to build the perfect brand. We spend months of preparation and there's no success. The key thing is first learn the skill, then start to scale.
This is something that I just wanted to dig in. If you guys remember the leverage points, the 3 leverage points that I've mentioned in the beginning, product research was not one of them. And this, I think what Simon just said is very, very elucidating. A lot of people have this dream of product research. 100 people sourced the same product. No one had the same results, right? So these guys have the backhand data to show you firsthand what works, because they know they're fulfilling the orders, right? So yeah, now I wanted to move over to Liyan and Charles. And one thing that a lot of people struggle with is going from step 1 to step 2 in terms of volume. They test a few products, they see some success. And then, because with these platforms, these marketing platforms, going from step 1 to scaling is very fast. Suddenly, you have all these orders, you have all this volume, and you have to fulfill it. So what I wanted to ask both of you, or one at a time, if you could provide your input, please. What would you advise people to do when they have a successful product that they're testing to avoid everything coming down crashing afterwards? So how should they prepare from a logistical point of view and working with you guys as the supplier, as the logistics suppliers? How should people prepare for an increase in volume that doesn't ruin a business, because it can?
Just to clarify, you're saying people started investing more capital to hold the stock.
So sales volume goes up all of a sudden sales volume goes up because with these platforms, that's usually what happens. You test the product, it does nothing, or suddenly overnight you have a ton of orders, and people are not ready for it, and they let the business collapse because they didn't prepare.
Right.
So what I wanted to ask you is if you could give some advice on how can people actually prepare to be able to not have their fulfillment and their quality of their service go downhill because of a sudden spike in volume. Because again, just to clarify, these are people that are drop shipping straight from the supplier, usually in China.
Yeah.
Right? So they're not using a 3PL, they're not using any of that, but they need to, right? They need to have that on scope. And my question would be, when would you advise people to start looking for a 3PL? When should people start preparing to hold inventory? At what point is that investment justifiable for someone who is dropshipping?
To me, I think it's about risk management. I come across a medium-sized sellers and big-sized sellers. In China, the top performed big-sized sellers, actually they have a team of 300-400 people, and they have an office occupying the whole office floor. but again, they invest in a lot of money on the businesses, and I think one is the risk management, the other one is the whole strategy. It's about the knowledge, and you know the inside out of the game actually. Dropshipping is one type of business. I think started investing in stocks and buying stocks, that's a whole different ballgame. One, you need to build a good relationship with the supplier that actually reliable. Two, you probably need some helpers on your side, actually taking on some of the repetitive works or some professional works that you're not very good at, and now leaving you the time to think about the bigger picture. And two, choosing your logistic partner very well as well. With the logistics, that we're not trying to earn money out of storage. We usually give free storage to our clients because we like to see them turning over their stock fast, selling fast, and we can earn the reasonable margin on the handling and the last mile distribution. And bear in mind, our last mile distribution is already very competitive, given the volume that we given to those Royal Mail, now it used to be called Hermes. Again, come to that point that we are adding value to our seller clients. Actually, going back to the previous question, I have something to talk about as well. I think Kamil mentioned it really well in your slides, is to learn from your competitors, and those videos and contents perform very well, isn't it? Because they certainly got the formula and the code to crack this the TikTok algorithm. That's the example done, case study done for you, and you just simply copy that, changing the background like you said, and maybe learn how it's all about performance in a way, how to speak, utilizing the way they communicate, and learn the essence of it, and produce a video of your own. Again, it's about learning. That's my opinion. You need to learn the game before that you actually making that first step, and give it a go. Give it a go as in a controlled way, and learn from it. And also, it is a repetitive game. Those sellers of our clients, they are selling on multiple platforms, not only TikTok, but they're selling on Shopify, WooCommerce, eBay, Amazon. There's the matrix. They are actually doing a matrix selling, multiple channels, and that's something that probably you can look into and learn from as well. This is my.
So what we advise is, if you have for 10 consecutive days 100 plus orders a day, keep some stock in the China warehouse from your supplier. If you have at least 1 month of 100 plus orders a day, start buying stock and putting in a local warehouse. The advantage of having China stock is that you can ship to anywhere. The disadvantage of having local stock in UK, for example, is that you are stuck to UK area. So if you're very focused on one country, you can do that, bring stock after 1 month of selling consecutively. You need to realize that when you're selling fashion, it's really hard to keep every size, every variant in stock. So for certain products, stock just doesn't make sense. There's a reason why Shein is successful with dropshipping. There's a reason why 50+% of our products are fashion related. It's because you cannot predict what's going to sell. So you cannot buy the stock to put in a local warehouse, because you're going to end up with a lot of overstock and maybe the trend is done. So when it comes to fashion, it's almost impossible with a lot of variants. So try to reduce the variants if you go into stock with the fast moving ones. So let's say you have hoodies. You have certain colors or certain designs. Only stock the ones that sell really well, and then let the other ones do through drop shipping. And these hoodies, for example, are one size only. So for these kind of items, try to look for these kind of items so that the stocking makes easier, because it saves you. For us to buy and bring it to a warehouse is 1 to 3 days. If you can ship it out within 24 hours, to the UK is 4 to 6 days, you have delivery within a week, which is still really, really good. So try to look for that. It'll be the advice: 10 days, 100 orders, or 1 consecutive month, 100 plus orders.
I'd also say to people, think about, pre-order model as well. So if you're sitting on a product that you're a little bit unsure about and you don't think, let's say you're selling a product with multiple variants and you're thinking maybe that one variant out of the 6, when you move to buying in bulk, is going to be the weakest one. Do it on a pre-order model basis, and that will save a lot of problems. Now, a lot of fashion brands that a lot of people wear in the UK, a lot of them are pre-order model. I hate to break it to you. A lot of the stuff you're buying is on pre-order because they don't want to risk having the inventory in their warehouse. So I just thought I'd tell most people that because they don't even know about it. When you order your sofa from DFS, that sofa's not even in their showroom. It's on the other side of the world in China. So when they try and give you that sales pitch where they say it's going to take 3 weeks to make this sofa, we're going to give it the best quality fabrics, they're not doing none of that. They're chatting absolute utter garbage. They're just telling the guy over in China to now send the sofa to the UK.
All right, so let's open it up for some questions. If anyone has questions for anyone in the panel, please raise your hands. Any questions? Okay, let's start here, please.
I've got a question. I mean, this could be open to anybody who's...
Maybe we want to...
I guess, firstly, thank you all for your time. It's been really valuable. So I suppose this could be open to anybody with experience in e-commerce, but I'm going to open up to Kamil first. Is the legal side of things. So when you start the step 1, what would you advise the best route to take is legally? Self-employment? Is it starting up a business through Companies House? What would you advise?
So first thing I'm going to say is I'm not a financial advisor. I have whatever I say to you right now is from my opinion and what I'll do myself. What you do with what I'm about to tell you is on your own risk and whatever you do. Now, what I personally do myself is I set up as a limited company, hence limited liability, or I have LLCs. Now, what I also do is I have a parent company, and then under those I have loads of other companies as well. Makes life a lot easier. Now, in terms of when you start getting products, you've got to understand the different categories. So if you were to sell an electronical product in Europe, you have to give 1 year guarantee by law. By law, you have to warrant a 1 year guarantee. So I'd recommend that you research these little things, like if you're going to go down the electric route and so forth. Another thing is, pardon me, something that I faced early in my days that really did take me out of the game for a while was whenever you find products on AliExpress or any of these Chinese websites, sometimes, although they might not have Marvel logos on there or anything trademarked, sometimes they just literally replicate a product from a genuine, legit e-commerce brand, but just they get rid of the logo. And they haven't got the license to sell that product, and it's illegal. So has anyone ever gone on AliExpress before and thought, where's that product gone that I used to look for? It's disappeared. No one now is selling it. Has anyone ever experienced that? Where they've gone on AliExpress and they think, where's that product gone? If you have, it's because it was illegal and now they've been shut down and they can't sell it. So,
just following that, can I give you a funny example? Me and my brother to my right, we set up a little company, a brand a few years ago, and one of the words involved in the brand was crepe, and we were selling products and it was all fun and games. And then one day I got quite an intimidating email from Crepe Protect, which is quite a big brand. They're in JD Sports and stuff. And we just changed the name. We just didn't want the headache. But I've experienced that, what you were saying.
So these kind of things happen. So what I'd always say to people is before you even get the product from AliExpress or wherever you're getting it from, ask your supplier, have they legally got a license to sell that product? Is there any trademarks involved, any patents involved? And just make it very clear to them that if they're chatting shit, basically, if they're lying. Excuse my French. If they're lying. Now, the little nitty gritty parts I can't tell you. You need to go and speak to like a lawyer or a solicitor about it. But you've just got to think to yourself, should you be selling something if it's got a Marvel logo on it? No. Should you be selling something if it's got a face of a celebrity on it? No. And those products that don't have any of that, just try. Like, you know what? There was a popular product back in the day of the fake Dyson hairdryer. My mate used to sell it. He got sued $60,000 because Dyson sued him. So just be very careful with what you sell and think to yourself, is there a real legit brand selling something that's identical? If the answer is yes, I would be very careful with what you do. Anyone else here want to talk about this issue?
When it comes to that, you asked about legal setting up a company, right? In the legal side of products. For setting up a company, I think that depends on where you're located, so I think he answered that for you. For products, we don't do fake goods. We also check everything because everything is shipped to our warehouse. We had several companies. Whenever someone sends us a link for this is the product I want to start selling, and we see there's a logo involved of an international brand or any face, we already know that we're going to get in trouble with them because they're checking it as well. So there are tricks of doing this by changing the name of the product, but in the end, that's not the long game. So it's not only as a supplier you get into trouble, because if you get blacklisted by YunExpress, 90% of our products are shipped by YunExpress. So our business dies. So we don't want to have that. For them, they're also very strict because they also have a large global plans. If they're shipping out branded products illegally, they also run into an issue. So not only for you as a seller, there's a problem. Also for the stakeholders in the supply chain, there will be a problem for the long term if you start doing that.
I mean, for YunExpress, we have risk control department. Actually, we go through all the list of the goods you're shipping, and we actually manage that from the name and actually the content as well. So basically, and also in my warehouse, at return warehouse, we do deal with some like black label, goods, which means maybe the patent is being is illegal. So we actually destroy those goods, make sure they are not circulated in the market anywhere else. Yeah.
For those that has the inspiration in the future utilizing fulfillment warehouses, one thing that you need to pay attention is fulfillment warehouse. If they are, they need to join a FHDDS scheme, which is a government scheme called Fulfillment House Due Diligence Scheme. As part of that scheme, we actually monitoring on the HMRC behalf where the seller, if there is a valid seller, when they're selling on Amazon or eBay, they have a valid VAT registration in this country. Also, we have a very good validation team, product validation team. For anything that's stored in our warehouses, they should actually, whoever doing this fulfillment business, they need to check the breaching the IPs or not. We have a client of ours selling Nintendo and Xbox games. We have to ask them to supply those purchase orders from the actual supplier in order for us to actually inbound their products into our warehouse.
So guys, we're going to do 10 minutes of blasting Q&A from you guys, and then we're going to finish it off with Nick's experience going from... Let me just give you a brief breakdown on Nick. He went from making no money last year to now being full-time in e-com, so we're going to have him on the end just explaining how he went from there. So has anyone in the crowd got any questions? Because this is going to be quick. You pick the one you want to answer. They're going to answer it in like 30 seconds.
I'm not a dropshipper. I've come here today because I've got a small brand that I've released, and it's Kamil that I'm asking this to. I've been looking into the e-commerce mentoring program, and I've been in talks with one of the mentors, and there's a cost involved with getting this mentoring done. And I just wanted to know, at what point do you onboard onto that? Is there sort of recommended sales figures you need to be hitting to get that benefits from that? Or
there's no real, you have to be doing this X, Y, and Z. We work with people that make no money. We work with people, pardon me, that have just launched an e-commerce brand. We work with people that are doing 7 figures, 8 figures. We work with the whole curriculum of people because we've got people in our team that can work with anyone. And the only people that work on my team are people that have worked with me before. They're not just random people that I find on Fiverr or, Upwork. These are people that have, can prove to you that they've worked with me privately for years. Any other questions, guys? Because we're going to do like 30 seconds. You pick your speaker, they answer for 30 seconds.
So, just on like the roadmap of the organic strategy, just before making the time investment to make the content, what are the things that people can do to check that the product will be a winner? Like, can you test it in any way before you make all of that content?
So the only thing that you can do if you really want to see if that product's got potential, if you were to turn it into a organic strategy, is upload 3 videos, boost those 3 videos with $20, and if they don't get 50 to 100,000 views, then that's, I would say, a 30 to 50% given.
How to deal with stressful and bad moments in business?
Who's that answer to? Who's that for, bro?
Everyone. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do...
For you.
Okay, so I'm probably not the best person to ask. At the start of the year, I counted my grey hairs. I had 3, now I've got like 9. So I think in the next 3 years, I'm going to have a full set of grey hair. So I don't know if I'm the best person to ask. I think Leonard's quite a relaxed guy.
Who can give the best answer?
This guy here, man, he's always chill.
You've got to embrace it. You've got to embrace the highs and the lows, but also work on yourself. I think success is not just income; it's your mental health. So, learning how to work on other areas of your life. Sometimes you have highs in business and you get lows, but then there's other areas, whether it be your fitness, whether it be your breathing. These things matter, and I know they seem cliche, but in the long run, they give you that extended ability to kind of survive the guaranteed additional load that will come maybe 2 years from now. So I think it's just about, being patient with yourself, but also working on other areas while you're still developing and getting back up.
I think everyone had these moments, but whatever, I think it's fascinating to maybe answer it in a different way. Whenever do I hire someone, I ask them at the end of the interview, what are you most proud of? And 100% of the time, it's been a tough moment that they've overcome. From a baby till now, it's not always business related. But you have to realize that whenever you're in your lowest point right now, or whenever you are, it's going to be the point that you're going to be most proud of to have overcome and to excel. So I think that's just to learn how to put that in perspective. For me, the last month has been horrible. But I know that it's the path I need to do to be able to get where I want to go. And I embrace the journey, but I'm also going to be damn proud of the last few months that in a year from now. So hopefully you can put that into perspective. Yeah.
Personally, I look at things as like a hurdle. So in life throughout the year, this year for me has been a very hard year. I've gone through a lot of losses, a lot of wins, and it's been very, very hard. But I know that these years that you have build onto great years. So when I started in 2017, my biggest struggle was 2017 was my biggest struggle, then 2018, and then I had my breakthrough year in 2019. Ever since 2019, I've only seen insane gains. Now in 2022, life wants to just smash me into the floor, but I know in 2 years' time, that might be the next 2 years where I just catapult again. But I'm still higher than I was back in 2019, so I'm still winning. But these are just things you have to go through.
Anyone from this side?
With TikTok Organic, you mentioned that you don't use a VPN. What other strategies would you say you use to hit the American audience?
Okay, so the truth is, these are a couple of tricks you can do. So if you really want to do these tricks, write them down. You can either find a friend, if you've got any friends that live in America, you can use them. So you send them the content, they upload the content for you. Now there's actually people on Fiverr and Upwork that actually have these as like job roles. They'll actually let you use their devices in that country. So you can send them the content and they'll upload it from their side to make sure it works. but you're looking at like $50 a month to use that kind of service.
You know, the entire TikTok strategy you guys discussed today, would it be smart to tie it in with Amazon? So the product link page in your bio, it takes you to an Amazon page, and then, you know.
I'm going to be honest with you. So if you look at the method that I taught you today with like Amazon finds and all these keywords, majority of the people that, you know, sell products on TikTok all do it through Amazon. They all do it through Amazon. Why do they do it through Amazon? Faster shipping time, and people are feel more trustworthy when they go on an Amazon link than they do a Shopify link. But there's lots of downsides to that. If on Amazon a customer wants their refund, they're getting their refund, and you're getting it tough. You're getting a chargeback. You're getting that money taken out your bank, put back into Amazon again. So there's massive downsides as well as there are upsides.
Hi, sorry. I've just lost a lot on crypto, as I was saying to him. So
join the team, bro.
Yeah. So I know you were talking about anxiety and panic attacks before, but yeah, I just wanted to go into fashion really, and I wanted to ask your opinion on if fast fashion is dead. I can hear a lot of girls smearing it at the moment, as well as that. Where are you sort of sourcing for? And then yeah, you've talked about Philippine VAs. So how much do they cost?
Okay, so
and if you outsourced this stuff, how much would it cost to outsource it as well?
So I'm going to be honest with you because I actually run multiple fashion companies. I own a fashion brand called fadcloset.com, fadcloset.canada, fadcloset.australia. It's a multiple seven-figure brand. Let me see how much money we've made this month. Let me check. Just so you guys know that I know what I'm talking about. Let me have a look. So this one is made. Let's have a look. It's bloody fair. This one's done $52,000 this month, which I think is a modest amount, with around about 40% profit margin. And my other fashion brand's done.
It's an iPhone, right?
Yeah, it's an iPhone, but it's the connection. This one's done £33,000 this month, so I think I have a valid point on this. So when it comes to fashion, fast fashion, it's a nightmare. It's one of the biggest nightmares because the profit margins are slim. You could potentially sit on stock that you may never move again because it's fast fashion. So fast fashion means it comes in, it comes out. It's horrible. A lot of fast fashion companies have horrible working conditions. Depends on your morals and ethics. Sometimes people don't care, so it's up to you. But it's a lot of stress. I'm ideally in outdoor and street fashion, and it's not fast fashion, it's seasonal. So we have just typical 4 seasons like any other brand does. But we don't do crazy Zara fast fashion, Mango fast fashion, Boohoo fast fashion. I'm not into that. Now, where have I found the best quality stuff? I get a lot of my stuff made in Pakistan, Turkey, and China. Now, my favorite out of the 3, not to upset anyone, has always been Pakistan. They make the best quality stuff, man. I'm just telling you, my experience, man, the stuff's amazing. But the people there are not always the best. Sometimes you can't trust them. So you have to have a very, very strong connection out there if you want to make things work.
Why not Turkey?
Turkish is amazing, bro. I use Turkish people. I use them more for furniture stores. They do some good furniture stuff. What part of Turkey?
Istanbul.
Yeah, these 2 are Turkish as well.
Can you recommend an account? Just, well, yeah, I don't know if you're asked.
Which one?
Like it's better for e-com, dropshipping, that sort of thing.
An accountant. There is one that I recommend. Hold on a second. It's called Awesome. OSOME. What's that, brother? So if you go onto one of my video descriptions, you'll find them in the description, and if you use the link that I give you, you can set it all up for like I think £1 or £10. So it's dirt cheap, and they're all UK assisted accountants for e-commerce, so they know what they're talking about.
Okay, and how much have you spent on previous Black Fridays? or just Q4 generally?
In terms of ad spend, you're talking millions, bro. between $500 to $1 million
Yeah, or just
per year. Per that part of the year, so that quarter, so from September till December. But Black Friday so Q4 Black Friday started 2 months ago, in my opinion. You guys want to talk about the fashion stuff?
For fast fashion, definitely, returns is a big thing. There's a high return ratio for fashion. We're integrating now with their warehouses globally. The same solution that Shein, why is Shein excelling, is because they have this awesome return solution. To be able for us to plug it in and be able to resell that as a solution is crucial for us to also differentiate from other players in the market. So definitely coming that we're going to have an integrated return solution through them, which is crucial if you're going to do fast fashion. Yeah.
All right, so Nick's coming to the stage. Where's good old Nick? Has he left us? There you are. We'll make room. Okay, quickly.
you said you used to do luxury goods, right?
Yeah.
Do you still see markets because you're doing street culture?
I'll give you guys a massive insight till next year. So next year we're going to have a massive crisis. People are not going to have much money. Credit card crisis. The economy is going to go into the shit. And high ticket will do extremely well. So during these horrible times in the economy, the rich will always spend money online, and that will be high-end goods that will do well.
Can we have a chat about where to source from?
You can source it from anywhere, high-end goods. But I would always recommend with high-end goods, always go straight to the direct supplier. Don't use companies that are, a middleman between it. Just go direct to them. So if you Google luxury sofa dropshipping supplier, you'll find the direct ones. You don't need to go through the middleman. Just go direct with them. But they might charge you to sign up with them, and like an initial fee of like £300, and then after that, you get all their licensing so you can sell the stuff. Be your best cutting out the other guy.
And why do you think they're doing a real thing done so well, like 10, 14 years?
Because they know what women and men want. They do it at an affordable price, and they do it in crazy market, and that's why.
Massive structure as well.
Yeah, massive infrastructure.
It's struggling right now, though, inside.
Sorry, say that again, bro.
It's struggling on this brother inside.
What is, sorry? Yeah, a lot of these companies are now struggling.
Their profits are down like 90%.
Yeah, a lot of them are gonna struggle because the inflation's gone through the roof.
Like you say, in type of prices normally like it's other way around, like people will not be able to buy luxuries and expensive items. Like for example, if you see watches and supercars in prices, they don't do very well.
Yeah, I would agree to disagree with that. Sometimes they do. It depends on how you market to people. Even in bad times, the guys that have got money will always find a way of buying something. But you've got to sell it to them like they're getting a good deal on it because no one else is willing to buy it. If you give it to them like that, they'll buy it. Nick, where are you?
Nick is over there.
Let's.
Yeah, we'll go and put Nick in.
Put Nick here. Just grab another chair, if that's all right.
The next testimony.
It's okay, it's okay.
That's all back.
Okay.
Just
got much for Nick.
Yes. Brilliant. Can you share my
Here.
So right here we got Nick. Now I met Nick a year ago. Who came to the event in London that I did on the rooftop? Do you remember Nick? That was the first time I ever met Nick. And he was the only guy offering me a chair. And it was the event I put on, which I found a bit crazy. So I met Nick a year ago. And a year ago, Nick was not making any money. He was losing money. He wanted to start e-commerce. He was fascinated by it. He tried it. He lost a lot of money. He had a job, and he was positive, but he was also, like some people said, mentally struggling as well because he was trying to make it work. So Nick, if you want to give people a quick.
Are we on? Hello. Thank you. So I guess when we first met, I'd made sales initially, but I breaking even at best.
I think. So I'd had an idea of, I'd watched a few videos before, and I'd worked for a couple of companies before and had this idea about marketing and stuff, but I'd never actually put that into practice at all. And so it's been quite a journey. I started off putting a store together like everybody else did and started running ads. And initially, revenue-wise, I mean, I made about 70k in revenue, but it was just breaking even. And this is the problem is with that, obviously, is that you're not really getting anywhere or growing.
Who here has that problem where they just break even all the time and they just don't seem like they're making money? Anyone? All right, good stuff. It's good to know.
We're with you, bro. So that was it. So to be honest, it started off for me is that I was working in a company and I took a look at their financials because they're quite open about it. And you saw there was a serious amount of margin being put on the people they had as resources. And I was like, that's a lot of margin for a company to make, and that they're paying me just enough to shut me up to stay in this company. And so I knew that there was something different. And then I went online and I just saw these young kids, because I'm 36, so like I've been around the block a little bit and I've been broke throughout my 20s, like 100%. And I saw these kids just making this absolutely insane money doing dropshipping. And that's what started my journey, really. That's how I came across you, wasn't it, on YouTube? So that's my background, really. Like I said, I came from a corporate job. I was a salesman, so I was an account manager for a marketing company. So I looked after clients and just made sure they were happy, tried growing the revenue and stuff. But that's kind of where I was, kind of stuck in a rat race with just enough money to kind of shut me up, I guess. That was it. That's how it started.
So since the last year I met you, so literally this time last year, where have you gone from to where are you now, and what changes have you made over that time, and what have you had to invest in to get you to where you are now? And before you get onto that, where are you currently now with your stores?
In terms of profit?
Revenue, profit.
So my store, so I'm actually investing in one brand that's taken that took the lion's share of the profit, and we make about 800 to 1,000 a day net after everything, like advertising and stuff like that. So
that's $30,000.
$25,000 to $30,000 a month.
That's life changing.
Yeah.
And
it's a dream. It's an absolute dream.
Do you want to get your Shopify store out?
Yeah, for sure.
Just so people that it's
Last
not
month.
fake.
2 seconds. I was just showing someone actually, so it should hopefully be loaded. No, absolutely not.
You showed me, not like.
There we are. Where are we? Month to date, 60 grand there. Obviously, that's revenue, so it's
I think he deserves a massive congratulations.
Life changing, absolutely life changing. Like
Now
money
tell
for me.
people the journey you've had to go through for last year, because I've seen it, because I've watched it.
So initially, I started off with that £300 in my pocket when I first started the journey before I met Kamil. And I was shit with money. I've been shit with money my entire life. So this has been quite a journey for me. And I made a little bit of money with the store. And like I said, it got to a stage where, I was learning the skills, which Simon, actually, really good point about learning the skills. It's really about that, connections and skills. But it got to a point where I wasn't getting past breaking even. And God, I mean, it's been a massive journey. So I've been through 2 mentorship bouts. One took me to about 5k a month, and this one has taken me to fucking ridiculous money. But yeah, I mean, initially it was it was a long journey in terms of, like, I guess you don't know what you don't know. So I'm just trying to think how I got there, really. So
let's rewind. January. Go from January, because in March, was it March? No, it was April, May time, June time. You went for a real deep time. Things got really.
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, I think it was, like I said, you don't know what you don't know. So I got introduced to things like creating more compelling offers. I was more accountable for creative testing, which was quite cool. Making sure that I had cross sales and upsells, and just making sure my brand message was really on point. I did have a period of time over the course of the year where I lost a lot of money trying to make things work over about a 3-month period. So what happened is I cleared about 40k out of the 4 months net, so 170,000 revenue, and then things took a dive and I struggled again, which was, if anybody's been there, that's a mental journey for sure. And then I think things started to pick up again. And again, I think it was just introduction to access to better resources, more upskilling. Like I said, things that I didn't know in terms of, like creating a compelling offer, bundling and stuff like that made a massive difference to my profit margins. It
Just
took
to,
me from
give, just to give you guys a heads up, Nick came to my apartment just before my birthday in May, and he got his laptop out and he started working on his dropshipping store. And I got my laptop out and I started working on my stores. And he goes, hold on, Cam, you're working on a whole different level to what I am. You're on a different caliber. You operate in a different level to me.
I think that was it, wasn't it? So like we both like so I'd mentored with him for a little while now, and I had the privilege of me coming into his life, and I worked with him, and I saw him get to work, and I was like, fucking hell, this guy just works at an entirely different level. And so like there was just a serious level up that I had to undergo myself to actually get towards that in terms of work, accountability. And you know me, I work pretty hard anyway.
So how many hours would you say you do on average? Before, because now you've outsourced quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So I've got VAs and people that help me out a little bit more now. But it was, I'd get up at 5:30 in the morning, I'd work before work, and then I'd work into the evening, 11 to 1 o'clock, and then I'd go again, because I was just hungry.
The key thing you
hungry.
just said then is before he starts his actual day job, he gets to work. And after he finishes day job, he gets to work. And that's what some people just can't do.
And I think it does come down to like pure grit and hunger. I think it kind of how much you really want to change your life. And if you're that dead set on it, you'll work yourself to the bone. And don't get me wrong, obviously, I guess you learned the hard way as well of there is something in having rest and trying to make sure that if you are burning out, you give yourself a little bit of a breathing space, which I am terrible at. But yeah, it was that's what it is. I mean, that's what it took in the first place, especially when you're trying to get off the mark or you're trying to actually get somewhere. You have to put almost an inhumane amount of work in that other people just aren't willing to do, I think.